Durdle Magic. Thank you for tuning in to Durdle Magic. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the content you see here today, and leave a like and share the video with someone you might think is interested. Leaving those likes really helps us out, but another way to help us out is by using our TCG Player affiliate link below. If you're looking for singles, sealed product, or gaming accessories, please consider using our link to support the channel. We also have some playmats at inkgaming.com. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to check those out. Alright, let's grab some spells and durdle with some magic. Hello and welcome back to Durdle Magic. Today we're playing some Brudiclad Telchor Engineer. 4 blue-red for legendary 4/4 artifact creature artificer. Creature tokens you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Looking at our opening hand, it does have Ristic Study in it, and we're 1 away from Kazal, so I think we're going to keep it and risk it. I've tested the deck a little bit. First game needed much more removal, so I added a bunch of removal. So we'll see how it goes. Keep the hand. We do have tokens out of Sharding Sphinx, tokens out of Kazal, tokens out of Brudiclad, and hopefully an early Ristic Study to kind of get us there, but we'll see how it goes. Our first opponent happens to be Brudiclad Telchor Engineer. Okay, 4 blue-red for legendary 4/4 legendary artifact creature. Do I have to say this all again here? I'm just going to leave this up for you guys. There we go. Our next opponent is not Brudiclad. Okay, we have Alesha, who smiles at death. 2 red for legendary 3/2 human warrior. First strike, whenever she attacks, you may pay Orzhov. If you do, return target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Clifftop Retreat into play tapped for the Alesha player. Comes to our turn, we get an island. That works out for me. Let's go ahead and play it. Tap down, pass it off to our opponents. Speaking of opponents, our last one is the Dragon. 4 and Wooburg for a 10/10 dragon avatar. Eminence, as long as it is in the command zone or the battlefield, other dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Flying, whenever one or more dragons you control attack, draw that many cards, and you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. A friend of mine and I were discussing how Maelstrom Archangel is sometimes considered an unofficial commander because of its ability and it being 5-colored and stuff. And he was arguing the point where he thinks it's too strong of an ability, and I said, yeah, but there's the Dragon in 5 colors, is larger and reduces costs, and you draw cards and all this other stuff. At that point, he conceded the point. Exotic Orchard into play for the Dragon. That's really good in 5 color. Mountain into play for the other Brudiclad player. Goblin Bombardment. That will be pretty good for him. Over to Alesha's turn. We do not do the Goblin Bombardment thing. I think in here I have like Impact Tremors. I'm very much more on the tokens and go wide plan. Alesha tapping down, saying they're passing it off. Comes to our turn, we get Pioneer. That works out for me. Let's go ahead, play a Mountain, and pass it off. Nothing to drop it to. So when building the deck, I had a lot of 4-drops. I didn't want Pia and Kiranelar, so I only did Pioneer. Plus, she also gives artifact creatures we control a little extra buff, so that's pretty nice. Plus, she keeps stuff from blocking, which could also be very nice. So no damage ability, but it does have other abilities. Reflecting Pool into play for the Dragon. Again, another one of these lands where I'm like, I mean, it doesn't really help unless you're already helping yourself, so I'm kind of down on them, but yeah, if you got them and it works for you, go for it. That's it for the Dragon. Over to Brudiclad player's turn. See what they do with it. 7 cards in hand for them, by the way. Worn Power Stone coming into play for the other Brudiclad player. And they played a Foundry of the Consuls, so you can sacrifice it and create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying for 5, or tap it and add colorless. Sorry if my voice is a little bit off today. Apparently I'm suffering from allergies, so my apologies. Over to Alesha's turn. That's a Mountain into play, followed by their commander Alesha, who smiles at death. They must be best friends. Nothing yet in Alesha's graveyard, so nothing too much to worry about, but could easily be followed by an Entomb, and if they drop a white or black land, that could be something. Comes to our turn, we get a Mountain. Hopefully the deck's not going to give us all lands. Let's go ahead and get down a Mountain and play that Ristic Study. Hopefully get some good, nice card advantage off of it. Pass it off to our opponents, and maybe even get some mana rocks of our own. The other Brudiclad player is going to be 3 mana up on us, so that's going to be very unfortunate. Over to the Dragon. I imagine land, yeah, there it is, Tundra, and then maybe like a Kadama's Reach or something similar. Urza's Incubator, that'll work. We get a free card draw off of that, so that works out for me. We get Hate Mirage. This is a card I've wanted to try out for a little bit. Urza's Incubator comes into play choosing the type Dragon. Our card, Hate Mirage. 3 red for sorcery, choose up to 2 creatures you don't control. Sorry. For each of those creatures, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Those creature tokens gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So we get a whole field of something big and scary. I do like the card, though in theory, I haven't gotten to play it yet. Island into play for the other Brudiclad player. Brudiclad Telchor Engineer coming down for the other player. We will get to draw a card off Ristic Dice, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and draw one. The card we get is Academy Ruins. That will come in handy. Brudiclad goes to combat. They make the hasty token. Let's see if they send it anywhere. I would assume the Dragon, but maybe we have a conflict of interest here. I don't know. Oh, no attacks out of the Brudiclad player. They end the turn. They're passing it off. Alesha's turn. Let's see what they do. They did drop another black source, but they are tapping 4 mana for Door of Destinies. Choose a creature type when it enters the battlefield. You may cast the spell of the chosen type. When you do, put a charge counter on it. Creatures of the chosen type get 1/1 for each charge counter on it. And she is a warrior? Yes, she is a warrior. We will also get another card draw. We are at 8 cards in hand though, so I don't think I want to draw any more cards at the moment. We will decline to draw another card. Oh, the chosen type is human. Yeah, I guess I should have figured that. So Alesha off into us. That's unfortunate. I guess we'll just take the 3 commander. Then Alesha's turn is going to roll over to us. Let's see what we get. We get a Mind Stone, so we do get a mana rock. That's fine. Let's go ahead and play an island. And then we'll play the Mind Stone. And then we'll go ahead and cast Pioneer and pass it off to our opponents. Pioneer comes into play. We get a Thopter Buddy. Now we can pass it off. Over to the Dragon's turn. Swiftfoot Boots coming down. Let's see if they pay the 1 for it. I don't see why they wouldn't. Oh, they don't. Alright, let's go ahead and draw a card then. We get Buried Ruin. Okay, another way to recur our artifacts. That's pretty good. Dragon passes through the turn. That'll be it. Over to the other Brudiclad. Another island into play for them. Seeing a potential 7 mana is pretty good. We're only at 5. Most of our mana rocks only are the 2 drops, Arcane Signet, Mind Stone. I don't remember if I put in a Thought Vessel or not. Sword of Feast and Famine. That will be very good for them. Let's see if they pay the 1 for the Ristic Study. They do pay 1 for the study trigger. That's too bad. In this deck, we run no swords. Sword of Feast and Famine being equipped to the Mirror token. Looks like they're off to combat. If they swing into us, at least we have some stuff we can discard, so that's not terrible. But I'd rather not be taking the damage regardless. Brudiclad off to combat. They'll make another 2/1 Mirror artifact creature token. Sword of Famines and Mirrors off into the Dragon. I can live with that. Damage is good. The sword will trigger. Notably, the Dragon missed a land drop, so Brudiclad might be aiming for that weak spot, saying that, hey, they didn't drop a land. Let's keep it that way. The Dragon can be a very good, if straightforward deck. The discarded card was Nicobulus the Ravager. Okay, I can live with that kind of discard, unless they have a reanimate spell of some kind. Second main phase, they cast Flame Shadow Conjuring. I think that is something we do have in the deck. They also pay for their 6 die trigger, again, making me sad. Back on over to Alesha's turn, they drop a Plains. 6 cards in hand, so developing pretty, I would say stably. Grand Abolsher coming down for them. It is a human. Ristic Study will trigger. Let's see if they pay for the 1. They do pay for the 1. That's another sad face. Alesha on the attack, off into the Dragon. I can live with that as well. So, that's good. 4 damage to the Dragon. That is commander damage. And she'll just keep getting bigger as long as that player keeps playing humans. Comes to our turn. We got Thopter Spy Network. More card draw is always a good thing. Let's see. What do we want to play? Let's just go ahead and play an island. So, Thopter Spy Network is 2 blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of upkeep, if you control an artifact, create a colorless Thopter artifact creature token. That's 1/1. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. So that will be pretty good for us. I do want to get down the Sharding Sphinx though, but I am worried about Brudiclad having removal for artifacts. So that is a thing. They could also kill it with something else, and I kind of want the Sharding Sphinx. We do have Academy Ruins and Buried Ruin to get back, but that's a long time off. So I'm thinking right now, let's just summon our commander, hold the other card draw back for later, and do that. That way we have something to help us get back in the game if something goes terribly awry. Brudiclad to our side of the battlefield, the true, the beautiful. Let's go ahead and go to combat, get those sweet triggers, make a token off of it. We will not choose to copy anything. I suppose we could throw a Thopter at somebody, but I think we'll just sit back in defense for the moment. Let's go ahead and pass it off. Over to the Ur-Dragon's turn. 6 cards in hand. I do hope they get a land. I don't want them to quit on us. That can happen, you know, in Magic Online. Sometimes in real life, it's easier just to go to another game, see if your deck works, especially if you're testing. But I do hope they stick around for a bit. The Ur-Dragon through the turn, no land drop. Ugh. That sucks, man. Over to the foe Brudiclad's turn. Let's see what they do. That is another land in play, an island, if I wager correctly. And they do have Flame Child Conjuring and a lot of mana. That does worry me. Mimic Vat coming down for Brudiclad. That'll be pretty good. Let's see if they pay for the Ristic Side Trigger. We do run Mimic Vat in here. They do not pay. We get Twin Flame. We do have the Twin Flame Dualcaster Mage combo in the deck for a win con, so there is that. Brudiclad on the attack. Let's go ahead and let them have it. The Goblin Bombardment still worries me a bunch. They make another hasty token. There's the attack. The mirror with the sword off into Alesha. The other 2 mirror off into the Ur-Dragon. That works for me. I think next turn we'll probably play the Sharding Sphinx. Follow that up with a Hate Mirage and have Twin Flame around just in case. Might be doable. Damage good all around, the sword will trigger. So the card discarded was a Swamp from Alesha. That works out, I suppose. Better to discard a land if you have enough. Over to Alesha's turn, speaking of. 5 cards in hand after the draw step. Tajik, Blade of the Legion coming down. Let's see if they pay for the 1 again. I would wager they are. They do not, actually. Let's go ahead and draw a card then. We get Indomitable Creativity. This is one of my favorite cards in Felden. So it is a sorcery for X red, red, red. Destroy target artifacts and or creatures. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of the library until an artifact or creature card is revealed and exiles that card. Those players then put the exiled cards onto the battlefield and then shuffle their libraries. With a bunch of tokens, you get all your stuff out of your deck. Thalia's Lieutenant also coming down for the Alesha's player. Let's see. 1 white. When enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each human you control. Oops. Pardon me. Whenever another human enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. That will be pretty good. They also don't pay for Ristic Study then either. Let's go ahead and draw the card. Flame Shadow Conjuring. There's ours. Thalia's Lieutenant will trigger, giving all their humans a 1/1 counter. So they're all fairly big. Cyclonic Rift right now would be great. Mazizian Mortars is not going to work. If we get Vandal Blast, that would work great. The 2 available attackers off into the other Brudiclad player. Again, flying under the radar, we do like a champ, and I can live with it. Damage is good to the other Brudiclad player. They are down to 27, take 7 commander. Comes our turn, we get a mountain. Discard fodder at this point. Let's go ahead and play Academy Ruins. So at this point, I think we play Kazal just to save our butts. I think that's the plan. Let's go ahead and cast him. If they don't pay the 3, we get a 3/3 Ogre when they attack. If they do, we get all their mana spent. Against Alesha specifically, I don't think it's going to work that well, but it might buy us a turn or 2. After that, let's just go ahead and pass it off. I think next turn I want to do Sharding Sphinx, Twin Flame, attack some people, especially if the Ur-Dragon's still here and is still open. And then after that, do the Hate Mirage and make a token of the Sharding Sphinx. Make all of our creatures a Sharding Sphinx. I think that'll be good. Well, at least our token creatures anyway. Alright, let's just pass it off. To the discard, let's go ahead and discard the Mountain and the Buried Ruin. I do need another red source in case I want to use Indomitable, so we'll be keeping the other Mountain. Over to the Ur-Dragon's turn. Steam Vents into play, untapped. Glad to see they got another land. Hellkite Charger coming down for the Ur-Dragon. That'll be pretty good. Let's see if they pay that Ristic Study trigger. Can't see. Yeah, they still have 1 left over. They do pay for it. Alright. So that with the Sword of Feast and Famine would be super, super dangerous. Also it flies. I was really looking forward to that. Just hitting them with like a Mirror or a Thopter or something to help trigger our Sharding Sphinx and get a ton of defenders. But I guess that's not happening. On the bright side, now we can copy the Hellkite Charger instead of the Sharding Sphinx if we really need just that extra damage boost. Ooh, at the end of the Ur-Dragon's turn, we have a Bombardment activation out of the other Brudiclad, destroying our Pioneer, or attempting to. Okay, that kind of sucks. Although, if they had to kill anything, that's the least of my worries. Alright, I guess she goes bye-bye. Bye, Paya. You served us well. Mimic Vat will trigger. Looks like they're going to get a Pie in the Lar. Evacuation, return all creatures in play to their owner's hands. That sucks. Instant speed, by the way, in case you're looking for something that's not Psych Rift. Alright, well, nothing to be done. Let's just let it resolve. And I think next turn, Brudiclad most definitely, most likely. And then follow that up. We're still probably on the Sharding Sphinx plan with the clones and the tokens as it is. So I think that'll be okay. Over to Brudiclad's actual turn. That was all on the instep of the Ur Dragon. 3 cards in hand for them. So we certainly have them beat as far as card advantage so far. Pia and Kieran Noir coming down for the Brudiclad player over on the other side of the table. Again, I did not include them. I had a lot of 4-drops, and them sacking stuff to deal damage isn't the most efficient. They did play for the study trigger, the sadness. Pie and Kieran Noir will provide that Brudiclad player with 2 Flying Thopters. Flameshell Conjuring shouldn't do anything, and they have no red left to do anything anyway. Legendary creatures don't quite work with it. Mimic Vat being activated, Pia Noir will come in. That's a little bit awkward. Pia Noir clone going at the Ur Dragon during combat. 2 damage is good. Mimic Vat will trigger on the instep. The token gets exiled. To Alesha's turn, a command beacon into play. This is a rare land from a commander set, also fairly expensive. It taps for colorless, or you can sacrifice it to put your commander into your hand from the command zone, thereby casting it for its normal cost. Alesha, who smiles at death, coming back down for that player. I imagine they won't pay for the study, but we'll see. They do not. Let's go ahead and draw one more card off of it. Our card is Vandal Blast. Yeah, I can probably live with that. Grand Abolsher coming back down for the Alesha player. Even if they don't pay for the Ristic Say, they didn't. We will decline to draw a new card. I don't want to have to discard too many cards out of my deck now. Thile's Lieutenant also coming back down. Their board state restored. Again, they will not pay, and again, we will decline to draw another card. Thile's Lieutenant will trigger, giving 1/1 to each other human. Alesha now a 10/9. Also, the Grand Arbiter, the Grand Abolisher is the largest one I've ever seen. That does it for Alesha's turn. Let's go ahead to our turn. Play a land, play the Vandal Blast, and maybe play something else we will have to discard. Ooh, Temple of the False God. That's actually, that works out. We can play something a little bit bigger. Let's play the Temple of the False God. Let's go ahead and cast that Vandal Blast. Seems like a really good idea to me. Vandal Blast with Overload. Boom. There it is. We have 4 mana left over. I'm thinking we'll do the Flameshell Conjuring. Get that out of the way. Flameshell Conjuring going to the battlefield. Might as well play our own. I was thinking Thopter Spy Network, but I still do want to keep that in our back pocket here. Alright, let's pass it off. We will have to discard a card. I don't really know what I want to discard at this point. I think I will discard the Indomitable Creativity. It is a lot of mana, and we'd have to set up a lot of board before we can use it again. So that one's going to the graveyard. To the Ur Dragon's turn. Surprised they're actually still in the game. We just destroyed one of their cost reduction abilities. So I'm glad they're sticking around though. Over to the other Brudiclad player. Their turn, 2 cards in hand after the draw. So we'll have to wait and see what they have. They still have Brudiclad in their hand though. It was bounced with the evacuation. So whatever they drew is the only card we don't know about. Springjack Pasture. So that makes goats, right? Yeah. Makes goats. Alright, well, if you want a lot of goats. To be fair, you can sacrifice those goats to add X mana of any one color and gain X life. So I can see where that's going to work for them. And the Ur Dragon quits. Yeah, they just weren't making any land drops. Thanks for staying in as long as you did, Ur Dragon player. I appreciate it. Brudiclad Telchor Engineer coming down for the player who has the fake Brudiclad, not the beautiful Brudiclad. I can't even talk anymore. They do pay for the Ristic Say trigger. That's a sad face. Brudiclad to combat. They make a mirror token. I imagine they're swinging into us, but I'll have to wait and see. Brudiclad through combat. I guess they're keeping the defenses up against the Alesha player. That works for me. Hopefully Alesha is inclined to still go into them and not into us, although we are a nice no armor on our face kind of target. Alesha's turn, speaking of, they draw to a 4th card. Let's see what they have in their hand. Tragic Blade of the Legion, that was one of the ones bounced from before. They do pay for the Ristic Stay trigger. That is a sad face, of course. Thalia's Lieutenant will trigger. Tragic will get a 1/1 counter. Alesha, full attack with available creatures to do so, off into our face. I kind of figured that was happening. We'll be taking 9 plus 4 commander damage. Damage is good. We're down to 28. 7 commander damage total from Alesha. Alesha taps down the rest of their mana and passes it off to us. Let's see what we get. We get Sarkhan the Masterless. I'll explain that pick in a minute. Let's go ahead and play a mountain. So with Sarkhan, it's essentially because we get the dragon token. That's it. For 5 mana, we get a 4/4 dragon. But, of course, if he continues to live, we can always make more dragons. That's not usually something that's going to happen, and I also like this Planeswalker a lot, but personal preference here, we do get the dragon, so that's my justification. Alright, so we do have 10 mana available. Let's go ahead, play, I'm thinking Kazal and Sarkhan. Still want to save that Sharding Sphinx, because if our dragon survives, we'll be in a really decent place, and if they want to attack Sarkhan and he can be sacrificed to our face, that's fine with me too. Problem being, we don't have enough red mana. Alright, so let's play Kazal. I want to get him down for some defense. We will not be making a copy of him. And then I suppose at this point, since we don't really have anything better to do, we'll go ahead and play the Thopter Spy Network and get that down. Might as well. Don't want to waste the mana on the turn, and we have no instant speed reaction otherwise. Alright, let's pass it off to our opponents. Hopefully Kazal going to be able to stave some damage away from our face and more towards the other Brudiclad player. Over to the other Brudiclad's turn. 1 card in hand they just drew for the turn. Kind of hope it's a land. It is an island. That works for me. They can pay to make a goat. Looks like that's what they're doing. Nope, sorry, got that wrong. Foundry of the Consul's being sacked for 2 Thopter tokens with flying. 2 combat on the other Brudiclad's turn. You should know what it does by now, but in case you don't, they'll get a mirror token. A 2/1 blue one specifically. They choose to make all of their tokens Thopters. Let's see where they put them. They won't be attacking us if they do anything. They'll have to pay 3 per attacker, and they can't. They could hit us for the 4 though. It doesn't stop them from attacking, say like Propaganda does. No attacks out of Brudiclad's second main phase. Tapping down some mana. I don't know what they're doing with it. Maybe sacrificing something? Yep, there it is. 2 damage to any target. Thalia's Lieutenant is getting blasted. Thopter fodder going into their face. That's it for Brudiclad. Over to Alesha's turn. 4 cards in hand again after the draw. Thalia's Lieutenant not going to make anything larger anymore. Alesha will have to waste some mana to bring it back on the attack if they want to. Duplicate coming down. Oh boy. I kind of really want Kazal, but let's see where this goes. They do not pay for the Ristic Stay. We will draw a card. We get Sad Robot. Okay, that's pretty good. Duplicate's coming down. It triggers. Where is it going? Okay, it's going into the other Brudiclad. I was really holding my breath there. Definitely need Kazal down on the table for this to work. Brudiclad gets exiled. Duplicate becomes a 4/4. It copies nothing else, by the way, just the power and toughness. A little bit sad, but colorless exile. It's gotta have a weakness somewhere. To the attacks, let's see where Alesha goes, if anywhere. Alesha full attack, 2 triggers. They'll not be able to bring anything back, but Tragic does become a 7/7. By the way, they are all off into the other Brudiclad player. I can endorse this strategy. However, if she ends up killing it, the other player in like 2 or 3 turns, we have to deal with Alesha. Blocks are in, 1 Thopter per attacker. No damage will be getting through. No creatures have trample or unblockability or some other kind of evasion. So they save their face for 1 turn. Brudiclad's still top decking though, so I don't know how they'll get out of this. There's a result. All the Thopter tokens are down. Comes to our turn. Thopter Spy Network will trigger. We get a Thopter token. We get Shark Typhoon. I don't remember why I put that in here. I think it was mostly permanents and creatures. But that could be really good for us. Just not at the moment. So I think right here, I want to get down Brudiclad and the Psalm Simulacrum. Really need to get another land into play, so I think that's what we'll be doing. Sad Robot into play. Flameshout Conjuring will trigger. Wondering if I should just kind of make another token of that, get more lands into play, and play Sarkhan. I think that might be something we should do. So I think we'll do that. Play Sarkhan, get the dragon token as well. First, we'll get a mountain into play tapped. We'll pay for the Flameshot Conjuring. Token of the Sad Robot. Let's go get another land, Island this time. And then we'll play Sarkhan the Masterless. We will immediately -3 to make a dragon token. And we'll pass it off to our opponents. Hope there isn't a board wipe, but somebody is playing Mardu and 2 of us are playing red. Odds of a board wipe are pretty good. We'll get some card draw off of it though. Over to the other Brudiclad's turn. 1 card in hand after the draw. Second main for the other Brudiclad player, an island into play. Their top decks are fairly bad. I wonder if they'll resummon Brudiclad. There's Brudiclad. See if they pay for their 6-side trigger. Yeah, they do. I kind of figured. Wonder why they didn't cast it before the combat, but I don't know. Probably forgot. I imagine it's fairly frustrating over there at the moment. Frontline Medic coming down for the Alesha player. That is a great card. Battalion, when at least it and 2 other creatures attack, creatures you control gain indestructible, you can also sacrifice it to counter a spell, which I think often gets overlooked. It has to have X in its cost and they have to pay 3, but that can save your butt from, say, a Villainous Wealth or some kind of Hydra thing. Oh, by the way, because of Zendikar Rising, this is not only human, it's also a cleric, so for your reference. Alesha, another full attack off into the other Brudiclad player. So I imagine that we will have to kill them pretty soon. So I'm thinking next turn, Sharding Sphinx. No, it'd have to be Brudiclad. I really want to get Shark Typhoon down. Alright, so it's already super hard. That sounded bad, but it's a hard decision, okay, guys? Okay? It's a hard decision. No blocks out of the other Brudiclad player. Let's see if they survive. They go down to 7, 12 commander damage on their face. So, one more turn for them to be a punching bag kind of meat shield thingy. That means we're on the clock. Our turn, Thopter Spy Network triggers. We'll get another Flying Thopter. Card for turns a mountain. Let's go ahead and play that land. So, new plan, I'm thinking Shark Typhoon does have cycling on it. We'll get a 1/1 Shark, play Brudiclad, play Hate Mirage, and then we'll whale into the Alesha player with a bunch of dragons. Sounds like a plan to me. Don't know that we'll kill them, but we'll get them well enough where they're going to have to make some really hard decisions, I think. Let's go ahead and get down Brudiclad. Oh, the other Brudiclad player quits, ruining all my tapping. That's too bad, but I mean, I'm glad they stuck it in as long as they did there. God, everything comes out wrong today. I'm glad the other Brudiclad player stuck around as long as they did for this game. Let's put it that way, everyone. I'm sorry. We will not pay to clone our Brudiclad. Let's cycle the Shark Typhoon. Go ahead and click all the mana symbols over here. We'll get a baby shark do. And we'll draw a card. Any mountain, that'll work out later. Alright, so unfortunately I was going to get the Paya and Kara Nalar. That's really... I mean, frankly, it's a little upsetting because that was part of my plan. So I feel like that's just kind of uncool. Let's go ahead and activate Sarkhan. And we'll make him a dragon too. Can't forget about Sarkhan. He likes to smash face as much as the rest of us. Let's go ahead and play the Hate Mirage. And what do we want to target though? Let's target the Duplicant. And nothing else has an ETB. So let's go ahead and I guess it really doesn't matter. We'll target the Grand Abolisher because why not? Our Duplicate comes into play and triggers. We will get rid of their Frontline Medic, sure. It is a made trigger, we had to select. Let's go to combat. Brudiclad will trigger. We get a mirror token. Choose a token we control to copy. Well, let's leave here the dragon. And let's go to combat. Whale everything possible off into our opponent. Do I want to? Yeah, let's do a Kazul too, just for the hell of it. Keep the sad robot back, I guess, for defense. They're at -1. We win the match. Yes. See? Sarkhan is awesome. Good game to our opponents. Alesha humans, haven't seen that before. Always interested in off-the-beat decks. Brudiclad, thanks for sticking in there. Dragon, tough game for you, man. I'm so sorry. But thanks for sticking in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. Here's the deck. Basically, I wanted to make tokens. with Brudiclad. So we can make a lot of little tokens, then we can make copies of things. Notably, again, we have the Dualcaster Mage combo. So here's Dualcaster Mage, and it will combo with things like the Twin Flame over here, the Heat Shimmer over here, and the Cackling Counterpart up in here. Cackling Counterpart is also instant, which is nice. The red ones are sorcery because red gets shafted all the time compared to blue, but that's not the point. The point is we can also make infinite tokens that way. I did not put in Porphyros. I didn't want to do that. I do have Impact Tremors. Porphyros tends to scare people, and while it is a great choice for the deck, I kind of wanted to do something else. Namely, that something else, of course, you saw it was Sarkhan the Masterless. Makes a dragon token. Why not have it in here? Other than that, I also have Call the Skybreaker, a personal favorite retrace card of mine. Is it great in most decks? Probably not. Do I love it? Yes. So here's the deck list. We did win the game. It was a little bit 3-player, to put it bluntly. So I don't know if the deck needs any modifications or not. If you have any comments about that, please comment below. I don't think I'm going to make any changes to it right now. Let's play another game with it, see how it goes. Other than that, if you liked any of the cards you saw here in the video today, of course, please use that affiliate link for a TCG player down in the description below. Helps out the channel and it doesn't cost you anything extra. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next video of this series with Brudiclad Telchor Engineer. Thank you for coming to Durdle with us today. Hit that subscribe button and go ahead and hit that notification bell so you're always up to date with our latest videos. Please leave a like and share the video with somebody who you might think is interested. We also post links to our videos on Facebook and Twitter at DurdleMTG. If those are the forums you choose to use, please check us out there. Until we can Durdle with some magic again, see you around.